people this crowd's into. What's up, guys?
Yo, yo.
How we doing? Okay, cool. So we're starting up here in 2 minutes. You guys want to know something super interesting? So first is that we've done 3 challenges before, but it was different curriculum. It was the previous challenges we had done were people who already had agencies. It was called the Get Clients Challenge. And there's two things interesting about this. Those previous challenges, it was somewhere around like 120 people who bought tickets. 482 people bought tickets for this. So it's roughly 4 times as much people who are interested in AI stuff. So that should tell you something as well when you're selling your stuff. Um, Now, secondarily, another interesting fact about this is that on those previous challenges, I regularly had like multiple people, maybe dozens of people. Hey, bro, I can't find the links to join. I can't find the links to join. Not a single one of you emailed me that you couldn't find the links to join, like just before. So, like, good stuff. Like, you guys are clearly a high IQ group of people. So, good stuff. Riley, you can put your hand down. We're not going to be calling on you. Um, we're going to save any form of Q&A towards the end of this. Um, but yeah. So I want to know real quick, everyone in the chat, if 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 you have been following me for more than 1 year, put one in the chat. Okay, if you've been following me, wow, that's a lot of people. If you've been following me for more than 2 years, put a one in the chat. I'm sorry, more than 2 years, put a two in the chat. Yeah, that's insane. Okay, now if you just found out about me in like say the past month, put a three in the chat. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so just to explain this to you guys, everyone who's putting a three, you are cold traffic. You're not warm to me, right? But all the people who put twos and ones, they are warm traffic. Everyone put a three is cold traffic. Everyone put a two and a one is warm traffic. Why? Because they know, like, and trust me. And everyone put a three in the chat. Like, a lot of you might not even know me. It's probably like the first interaction you might be having with me in any capacity at all. You're cold traffic to me. So, what is going to determine whether you make money in a business is your ability to convert cold traffic. Because if you try to operate a business under the premise that like the only way it's going to work is if you have a bunch of people who know, like, and trust you, like, well, I take a stab and say that 99.9% of the people inside here do not have a large audience of people who know, like, and trust them. Now, that's an issue because if your ability to make money is contingent upon you having a large audience, people who know, like, and trust you, and you don't have one, then that would just relegate you to poverty forever. Right? So that's not good. So what we need to do is the whole premise here of this first class is specifically to give you the foundational understanding of how to convert cold traffic. And this is very distinct from warm traffic, right? I'm not going to sit here and teach you to sell things that are like, go hit up your dad's colleague who has a business, and like, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to I'm trying to give you the ability to approach people who've never heard of you before ever and get them to buy stuff from you. You get what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So let's get in. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Just put a yes in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, cool. Bet. So, welcome to the challenge. I'm going to go over some quick stuff real quick, and then we're going to go straight into the content. So, over the next 4 days, this is what we're going to cover. By the way, you're gonna get the recordings as well for all of this too. So don't worry about that for now. Okay, day one, which is today, we're going to talk about how offers work, what to sell to clients, how to construct these offers so you can successfully sell them, how to pick a niche and the math behind it, and then how to use AI to build client lists in 5 minutes. Day two is going to be building AI agents. So we're going to give you 3 examples of live builds of actual AI agents from scratch, like building them. So it's going to be email marketing agent, content creation agent, lead generation agent, and you'll be learning literally how to construct these from scratch. Day 3, booking calls and closing deals, it's going to be how to write outreach messages that get responses, how to get the calls booked, actual email templates to get high response rates, actual sales scripts to use, how to build and use ROI calculators, how to handle objections, and how to collect payments from clients. So you see Christian on here right now. Christian and Dan, my who are both my co-founders, are going to be doing day 3. 2 of my other co-founders, Lucas and Andre, are going to be doing day 2. And then in day 4, we're going to talk about advanced AI marketing tactics and mindset. So I'm going to be back on for day 4. So there's going to be actual behind the scenes maps of funnels that I've used to generate over $5 million in profit. Like I'm going to take an example funnel and literally walk you through the entire thing and how to create it with AI. How I use it and AI to generate all the components of it. Afterwards, we're going to talk about the money models and mindset needed to actually make this business work. You really don't want to miss this because having a bad mindset and thinking the wrong things is why 90% of people fail. It's actually very interesting to me because I've been selling any kind of like, I guess, coaching or form of consulting and for probably like 3 years now. I have a ton of other businesses as well, but I was under the assumption that most people would just want tactical information all the time. And having been exposed to a lot of people, a lot of high performers too, like people who are high 6 figures in revenue, this all gets fucked up for them because of their mindset. It's actually very interesting. I was not expecting that to be the case when I was much younger. Okay, so you will get recordings of each class a couple hours after the class is done. You will also get the Gamma docs for each class a couple hours after this class is done. So this right here is a Gamma doc. Everyone's going to get the Gamma doc, so don't worry. It's going to be sent to you after the class with the recording to your email that you purchased this challenge with. Do not email me asking for them. They will come. If you haven't gotten it to your email, it's because it hasn't been sent yet. It's gonna take like a couple hours, and then it will be sent to you. I promise. Okay, cool. So if you don't know me, my name is Daniel Fazio. I'm going to be doing class 1 and class 4. I'm the co-founder of Client Ascension and co-CMO at ListKit. The other person you see on here with me right now is Christian. He's also a co-founder of ListKit. ListKit is a software company. It just raised money at a $48.6 million valuation. So Lucas Sinot is our head of AI Client Ascension. He's going to be doing class 2. He's going to be the one actually walking you through the creation of some of these AI agents. How many people do we got in here, bro? 269 people in here right now. That's cool. Andre, he's the CEO at ListKit and a co-founder at Client Ascension. Christian just talked about him. And then Dan Crowley's our VP of Sales at ListKit and co-founder on Client Ascension. So Dan Crowley's running 2 sales teams right now. And he's how many people in the sales team? Probably like 15 or so, something like that. So he's the sales manager of them. And we're going to do our absolute best to give you guys as much value as humanly possible. I want you to feel like this is one of the best things you ever bought. Quick credibility for the cold traffic people who aren't aware of me. Everyone who put a 3 in the chat. Here's a 12.6 million, a 9.88 million, and 970,000 over here. Cool. So when you include wires and PayPal and other payment processors, we've made about $27 million since January 2022. What's not pictured are the payment processors for the agencies we ran to the new agency we're running now. We took a lead generation agency to, oh my God, you guys are going insane in the chat. We took a lead generation agency to 100K a month and morphed it into our software company called ListKit. What we run now is Client Ascension, ListKit, and Runway, which is an AI agency. Things we've run previously: KnowledgeX, Clean Leads, Quick Lines, Mailio, Mailerize, Contact Ecom, Scrape Info, and a Cold Email Wizard. I'm saying this just so you guys understand that, like, I'm not, oh, look at me, I've done all this stuff. I'm just trying to like convey to you that we're normal humans and this is a mechanical process. of how to make money. If you just follow the base foundational levels of what to do, you should be able to emulate it with a high success rate. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not some kind of like special wizardry shit going on here. We're just normal humans. Okay, cool. So this is going to be our schedule. So right here, you're here right now, class 1. And then we're going to do the same thing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. This class 2 and class 3 might be longer than 2 hours. I actually don't know how long this class is going to be. It's going to be at least 2 hours, though. I have a ton of shit to go through here. But class 4, probably be about an hour and a half. And then at the end of that, we're going to give you guys an offer. So I got some messages from people like, is there going to be an upsell? Yeah, there will in fact be an upsell. You don't have to buy it. You can leave if you don't want to see it when we get to that point. That's fine. But it's also going to be your Black Friday offer. So it's pretty good. So if you guys want to see our Black Friday offer, then it would be great. Need to sell all my crypto before Thursday. That's cool. Yeah, you should. That'd be great. Okay, cool. There's going to be some crazy bonuses with it. So if you want to stay for that, make sure to show up to class 4. If you do not want to see the pitch and you don't want to be pitched to, then simply leave. That's fine. I won't be offended. But it is going to be a really good offer. So before we start, I want to know if you run a business right now already, like if you actively run a business, put a 1 in the chat. All right, shit ton of people. Okay. If you do not run a business yet and you're just starting this from scratch and yeah, 2. Everyone put a 2 in the chat. If you do not run a business yet, you're starting from scratch. All right, cool. There's an interesting, it's about 50-50 distribution. That's super interesting. I want everyone to put it in here. What is your motivation for doing this? Do you want to quit your job, have time freedom? Do you want to get, or do you want to get like filthy rich? And you know, starting a business is the best way. Whatever you think. Because me personally, I like time freedom. Like I'm not overly concerned with being like filthy rich. I just want to not work a job and work for someone else. I don't like that. Cool. Good stuff, guys. Now I want you to remember that as like a motivation, right? I'm not going to go super like woo-woo fuckery in here. I'm going to try to get as tactical as I can, but just like remember this as a motivation for yourselves. All right, cool. So before we begin, today's class will be a foundations class. So we're going to talk about like the foundations of how business works and what you sell. Every day after this is going to get progressively more tactical. So we will be diving into live AI automation buildouts and advanced uses of LLMs in order to create assets in days 2, 3, and 4. But this class is just like foundational level stuff you need to understand. So let's get into this. I want to show you guys this first real quick. So this is from Y Combinator. Y Combinator is like a startup accelerator in San Francisco, the most successful one in the world. And this is a memo they put out. They said, at YC, I would like to fund more founders working on full stack AI companies. What is a full stack AI company, you ask? Let me give you an example. Suppose you believe that LLMs, which is AI, are now able to automate a lot of legal work. There are 2 things you might do with that idea. You could build an AI agent and sell it to law firms. That's what most people do. Or you could start your own law firm, staff it with AI agents, and compete with existing law firms. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to the distinction between what these 2 things are? Selling an AI agent to somebody versus like running a business and operating the business with AI.
Everyone, in this guide, we're introducing
cool.
our new.
So, well, likely none of you here have an interest in making an AI law firm, as 99.9% of you are probably not attorneys, right? Something like this would require too much logistical intensity. Still, it would require the employment of licensed attorneys. It would require the actual conducting of law in a courtroom. But we want something with less logistical intensity that does not require us to be in a physical location, that does not require us to shell out tens of thousands of dollars in investment capital, and does not require specialized accreditation or knowledge. Okay, so the one model that fits these parameters is a marketing agency or any agency. So if anyone who is not familiar with that term, it just means you are selling a digitally rendered service to another business. You know what I'm saying? So this full stack AI company is what I call an AI assisted agency. It's just that you are rendering this full stack AI concept onto an agency. That is what an AI assisted agency is. So because why do I like doing it to an agency or a marketing agency? Because the fundamental deliverable of what you deliver to a client as your product is text or internet based. So sales pages, emails, video scripts, ad scripts, systems or build outs. These are not things that require you to be in a physical location or have some kind of specialized knowledge, like being an attorney. So I whipped out my iPad and made this little graph here. I hope you guys can see it. So this is just a left to right of low technical ability required to high technical ability required. And this is what you can sell with AI, right? This literally is like the available things that you could sell conceivably with AI. So you have a full stack AI company or an AI assisted agency on the lowest technical ability required. And then you would get to an AI automation agency, which is still an agency, right? We teach that. And then there is the producer of a large language model. So that would be literally be like OpenAI or Claude, right? You need to like train a model and sell the model, like access to the model. That's what DeepSeek is. Like if you just come up with these random model, like that's what this is. The next would be selling GPUs or electricity. So like the production of a GPU, like that would be NVIDIA or nuclear power. The next would be semiconductors or semiconductor machines, which would be something like ASML, right? So I'm not sitting here teaching you how to sell and train your own LLM and sell it, right? I'm teaching you you see what's happening here. Like all of these are contingent upon the previous one. You know what I'm saying? So like in order to have a full stack AI company use AI, you need to understand some of the things that like an AI automation agency would otherwise build. In order for this to be the case, they need to access to an LLM, and they need access to GPUs. They need access to semiconductors. You get what I'm saying? So, okay, you're not building AI tools or doing engineering level technical work. You are taking what is already built and then executing those systems for people, right? Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, cool. So imagine electricity. You are flipping light switches for your clients. You're not building power lines, right? You're not wiring a house. You're just flipping switches. Okay, so let's get into why businesses buy things and what you can sell them. So just some quick terminology here. B2B means business to business. So that it's any product that you would sell to another company. So like, for instance, that'd be something like CRM software, project management software, marketing or advertising services, professional services like accounting or legal, manufacturing companies, logistics companies, anything sold to another business as the buyer, then you would be considered B2B. B2C is consumer. So anything, it is like anything you'd buy off Amazon, like food, gaming systems. This product, this training that you're on right now could be considered a B2C product. If it's sold to someone who doesn't want to, it's technically a B2C product. But if the whole thing was geared towards only selling to people who already run a company, like the Get Clients Challenge was that we used to run, then that's a B2B product. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So there are only two resources you have available in existence at all ever. It's time and money. There are only two types of products you can sell: physical products or services. Okay, services require time. Products require money. B2B services normally you can sell for a fairly expensive price, and they're fulfilled with time. Therefore, your business model is selling services to B2B companies. This also means that you also are a B2B company because you're selling to businesses. So the people you're selling to are B2B companies, and you're a B2B company. So I'll get into why that's important later on, that who you're selling to is also B2B. So now before we proceed, let's establish something. It's that the inception of the internet was the automation of data transfer. So I'm going to give you an example here just to help you guys visualize this and make another point after I make it. Okay. Say, for instance, that the year is 1850 and you run a bank in New York City. You got 4 branches of your bank. You're JP Morgan, right? At the end of each workday, you had to hop on a horse, meet up with the managers of each bank branch, and reconcile your books together to make sure that none of your customers were taking out money from multiple branches, right? Because if they had $1,000 in their account, you need to make sure they didn't take out $1,000 from one branch and then right over to the other and take another $1,000 out, right? That's the huge problem. So when phones became a thing, They would just stop riding on their horses to meet each other and just call each other, right? Okay, when the internet became a thing, they started using instantly updating databases. So you didn't need to call each other. It just was immediate. You know what I'm saying? That's data transfer. That's the automation of data transfer. That's what the internet is. So what then is AI? If the internet is the automation of data transfer, then AI is the automation of cognition, like thinking. So say, for instance, the year is 2026 and you run a LinkedIn ghostwriting business. So you write LinkedIn posts for a client and they pay you $1,000 a month to do it. So you have to make, let's say, 5 long form posts per week for them. Back in 2023, 2024, even most of 2025, you had to sit and manually write these out, right? You need to come up with the actual idea of the post, write the entire thing out manually. And if you wanted to scale this business, you needed to hire other people who would do this for you, right? Huge problem. So now the problem with that is that people who haven't run their own business before just say things like, "Oh, you can just hire someone to do that." You do not just hire someone. Like to find someone who is good at something is very difficult. Like this, and they cost money, right? And it's a huge problem. You do not just hire someone, right? So to scale this business and reach, let's say, 10K a month of profit, you needed to be making something like 30K a month in revenue, because people who are actually good at writing weren't going to be sitting here working for $500 a month like that. Like the Filipino VA for $4 an hour, like, is not a skilled writer. You know what I'm saying? So it's a huge issue. Like it is not. It was difficult to do this, right? With AI though, here's a for instance of what you can do. Instead of hiring people to do this for you, you can copy 500 to 200 LinkedIn posts from influencers that have already performed well, feed that into an LLM or an agent, feed another document into it with information about your client that you want to make content for, then have it create posts for your client based off the models from what it found from the successful posts. You know what I'm saying? So now you can create an entire month's worth of LinkedIn content in like 30 seconds with 1 hour of quality checking instead of like 12 to 15 hours of manual writing. This means that you alone can handle 20 plus clients. You know, and you're going to be seeing stuff like this in the next couple of classes. But this is the point. Like, it's stupidly easy to do this now. Okay, so before we proceed, I want to explain the difference between an LLM versus an agent. So LLM means a large language model. This is something like ChatGPT. So an LLM can, for instance, generate your client's LinkedIn post, right? Okay. An AI agent is an LLM with independent actionability. So it can scrape the example posts you want to train the LLM on. It can write the LinkedIn post. It can create accompanying graphics for each post and schedule those posts into a scheduling software and then have them actually be posted. You know what I'm saying? So an AI agent is just an LLM with the ability to perform actions. It is the combination of cognition and data transfer. Does that make sense? Why, like I said all this before, the internet is data transfer, AI is cognition. An AI agent is the combination of data transfer and cognition. It is a human. You know what I'm saying? That's what it does. Not per se, because it doesn't have consciousness. But you get what I'm saying. Okay. So let's go into the actual reasons people buy things. So businesses are entities run by humans. Therefore, we need to understand that the reason a business buys something is to appease the humans running it. You get what I'm saying? So when we come up with what we need to sell people, we need to think about how we can appeal to the selfish needs of the human running the business, right? You're never actually selling to a company. You're selling to a human running the company. So there's only 3 reasons anybody buys anything. It's health. So buying this will make me feel better, look better, live longer, and avoid physical pain. There's love. There's buying this will result in me getting more dates, getting married, and procreating. And there's wealth, which is buying this will deliver a return on investment that results in me being richer than I was before. Right? So, but because we will be selling a B2B service, 99.9% of the cases, we will be appeasing to our clients' selfish wants to acquire wealth. Okay, so all the most successful businesses on the planet appease to any of these. Okay, they have the desire, connection, comfort, growth, freedom, power, aspiration, fulfillment. What we're going for here is growth and freedom, or otherwise greed and sloth. So growth would be prosperity and achievement. That's make money offers, agency services, coaching, business tools, investing. Freedom, simplicity and leverage, automation, SaaS, convenience. Every single one of you in here, when I said, what do you want? It was either more money or it was more time. What is that? It's growth and freedom. Every single one of every single thing all of you put in the chat that you want is that. You know what I'm saying? So basically remember this. What you're going to be doing is appeal to their greed and sloth. Okay. The people you're selling to want to get rich and do nothing. And the best way for you to get rich and make money is to help people with money make more money. So there's this saying, it's called, the prospect isn't stupid, they're your mother. And the reason why I think it's important for you guys to hear that is, like, for instance, there's a lot of assumptions that people have around, like, when you're trying to sell something, and it's like you're trying to sell an offer to a client, and it's like blatantly not a good deal. Like, it's blatantly not a good offer that you were trying to sell somebody. You're like, why isn't anyone buying my offer? And it's like, because you wouldn't even buy your offer. Like, why are you operating under the presumption that the people you're selling to are complete idiots? They're not. They're intelligent, sentient human beings with their own lives, with their own wants and desires, and they're not stupid. They're your mother. Like, would you call your mother stupid? You know what I'm saying? So if you're wondering, like, it's important to disconnect the idea of, like, because for you guys will do like outreach to clients, like you'll send some outreach to clients, and like a lot of people like to look at, like, oh, I'm doing outreach to clients and like this is the response rate, and they're looking at it as like it's a mechanical process, and like it's just numbers on the screen. It technically is, but it's not. It's like, why is no one responding to my outreach? Because they don't they're not resonating with what you said in the outreach. Like, what you're offering them is not what they want. Like, that's why. There's no other reason why. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about front end cold traffic offer. What is a front end cold traffic offer? Like, what is it to be front end cold traffic optimized? So you can basically categorize all offers into two buckets. So back end warm traffic offer or front end cold traffic offer. So, like, as we saw earlier, a ton of you guys in here are cold traffic. What does that tell us? That I successfully structured this offer in such a way that it would convert cold. Now, what's interesting is that the Get Clients Challenge, I was unable to get to work on cold, but this one does work on cold. It's just a better topic of stuff. It's a better positioning of, it's a better offer. You know what I'm saying? And clearly it obviously, like, what determines whether an offer is successful? It's whether people buy it, right? So you bought it, so therefore it was successful, right? So, okay, a back end or warm traffic offer is something that can generally only be sold to people who already know or like or trust you, right? So a lot of you guys, like all of the people who put a 3 in the chat earlier who were identified as cold traffic, they don't know me. If you got an ad from me on Meta or YouTube and it just said, hey, I'm selling consulting calls for $1,500, like, do you want to buy it? Literally none of you would buy this. Not a single one of you would just buy a consulting call from me for $1,500. But I regularly successfully sell consulting calls for $1,500. People actively purchase this. How? Because they're warm traffic. Right? Only that's a warm traffic offer that will not work on cold. So that doesn't mean I don't sell it. I'm definitely gonna sell it to warm. But what I'm saying is that if you don't, in the beginning, you don't have a giant audience. So you need to have a cold traffic offer, right? Everybody starts like this. I started like this. So a front end cold traffic offer is something that can successfully be sold to somebody who does not know you or like you or trust you yet. I'm going to give you guys an example of a story of a guy who was on our last challenge. Really nice older gentleman. He was he's probably around like 50, 55 years old. Really great guy. And he paid some dude $50,000. Yes, 50. And I'm not exaggerating the number. Like if any of you think I'm bullshitting, I'll go find the recording of it. Was like a VIP session of the last challenge. He paid 50 grand to start an AI business. Okay. Uncle was loaded. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a fairly wealthy guy. The offer this guy was taught to sell by this guru was called database reactivation. Okay. Imagine this, right? So this is how this works. There's some company with a CRM or a database of about 30,000 leads they've acquired over the past 10 years or so, right? What this guy was supposed to do is send emails to this database and reactivate these leads to book sales calls for the business, right? This guy came to me on this challenge, the VIP session of it. He was telling me he was having a hard time getting clients, and this is why he joined that Get Clients Challenge. So I said, yeah, I bet you are, because this is not a viable business model. It will never be a viable business model in your life. You need to immediately stop trying to make this business work. Nothing you do is going to make this work. And he was obviously distraught because he paid some dickhead $50K to learn this business. But this would be a good offer if he just happened to have an audience or set of colleagues or people who he knows in any capacity who happen to have giant CRMs with a bunch of dead leads inside them. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So this guru who sold this to him may or may not have ever sold this offer himself in his life. But I guarantee you, if he has, it was to people who he already knew, like, and trusted him. And it was absolutely not to cold traffic. And this guy failed to articulate to this gentleman that this is not going to be successful if you do not have an audience of people who already know, like, and trust you. I have no idea who the guru was now. Here's the thing. This business mathematically makes sense. Like, yeah, that's technically a good deal for the bit. Like, it makes sense. But it's just that no one's ever from cold traffic going to buy it, right? So the only way you ever get somebody to buy this offer is if they already knew you. So this is the kind of offer where you only get a client because your dad runs a giant business or has a bunch of rich colleagues who don't know any better and just hand business over to you on a silver platter, right? But none of you in here have that, right? We are concerned with closing cold traffic. If you can close cold, and I want you guys to remember this. If you can close cold traffic, so getting complete strangers on the internet to give you money, you will never be broke ever again in your life. It is single-handedly the most powerful skill on the planet, the ability to convert cold traffic. So, but let me help you visualize this real quick. Why do most people who try to start up a business fail? And like, when does the business fail? Like 90 of the businesses that fail, like the vast majority of them are going to fail like immediately, like within the first month. Let's say like people trying to start an agency. Why? Because in order to get a business off the ground, you need the ability to convert cold traffic. What is the hardest thing that you can, like, what is a difficult, scarce skill in the world? The ability to close cold traffic. You literally cannot have a successful business absent of the ability to close cold traffic. It's literally impossible. You cannot, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to convey like how important this is for you guys to understand. Like, cause I'm gonna explain like how to tactically go about making a cold traffic offer here. So I need you to like fully understand the premise as to why this is so important. Because you are like, for lack of a better term, just to convey the urgency as well, you are completely fucked if you cannot figure this out. All right, cool. So why doesn't cold traffic buy this offer? So because it's not new money. Cold traffic doesn't think you scalping money off of something they already have is appealing, right? So the reality is that 90% of offers people tell you to sell are not front-end cold traffic offers. Is anyone familiar with how, you know, like the drop shipping e-commerce guys, like how they're always like, they'll never tell you what the product they're selling is, like why they're so like tight about that? Yeah, the reason why is because they have a front-end cold traffic offer that's converting, right? Like people don't just like fucking advertise the front end cold traffic offers that are actively working right now. Except if you're Daniel Fazio and you just bought the AI business challenge and who's going to do exactly that. So they only work if you have previous clients or a giant audience who already know it. Okay, so what do? You need to here's the thing. You need to appendage a front end cold traffic offer in front of warm traffic offers. I'm gonna explain this to you in a second when I start getting into like client LTV and whatnot. But I'm gonna give you an example here. So, Ravi is someone who's been in client extension, I think, for like 6 months now. When we started working together, he had a single SEO client, and he was making about $1,000 a month in profit. And that client was not from cold traffic. He just like knew the guy. Okay, cool. He was doing hundreds of pieces of outreach to try and get clients for his SEO business, but it wasn't working. Okay, so none of the client acquisition strategies all the gurus taught him would work. Nothing. It didn't matter what cold email scripts he was using, what outreach methods he was using. If he was running ads, it didn't matter. None of this was working. Nobody was booking calls. Nobody was buying. It did not matter what he did or how long he worked. So I had him make, this is the first thing we did when he came in. I said, you need to make a front end cold traffic offer to sell instead of SEO on the front end. Okay, so he was able to hit $66,000 a month in 4 months after doing this. Now he's over 120K a month at the time of me writing this. Why? Because SEO is not a front end cold traffic offer. It literally does not work trying to sell it to cold traffic. Okay. He then made an ads funnels agency where he'll make funnels for clients and run ads to those funnels. Does anyone who does not know what a funnel is? Put a 1 in the chat if you don't know what a funnel is. Okay. Yeah, I'll just explain it real quick. So like a funnel is it's normally referred to as a series of pages. Like I'll give you for instance. Okay, so this is an opt-in page for like our main AI assisted agency program. I send a lot of ads to this page. You click here and you get name, email, phone number, and once you enter that, it takes you to this page, which is this, and then there's a video right here. This is called a video sales letter, and then all of this on this page is a sales page. And then what happens is you click this. This triggers an application to pop up, and at the end of the application, it takes you to a call, right? So what a funnel is like that series of pages, right? It's an opt-in page, and then I capture the email and the phone number, and then we send a bunch of automated emails, and then we have people call the phone numbers and send text messages to the phone numbers. Then people watch that video, they read the sales page. Some of them submit an application to book a sales call, and then the people book the sales call. But this whole series of events that are occurring in order to get people to buy is like literally graphically represented as a funnel, because you have a lot of people at the top, and then there's like a progressive drop off of a higher percentage of people all the way towards the end until you get the like people who end up paying you. You know what I'm saying? That's what a funnel is. So what Robbie's service here is him making funnels for people instead of SEO. You know what I'm saying? As the front end cold traffic offer. So then, of the clients who buy the creation of a funnel from Ravi, he then upsells them SEO. Why? Why does that make sense? Why does it make more economic sense to do it like that? It's because SEO is a warm traffic offer. Ads and funnels is a cold traffic offer. So he sells cold traffic something, right? So everyone in here who identified themselves as cold traffic earlier, you are no longer cold traffic anymore. You are now warm traffic. You've sitting here, you've listened to me yap for 37 minutes at this point. You are not cold traffic anymore. The probability that you now purchase more stuff from me is inclined by thousands of percent. You would now purchase warm traffic offers from me. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ravi did here. You know what I'm saying? So just visually, before he was trying to push cold traffic onto SEO, but it was blocked. It didn't work. Right? Now he pushes cold traffic onto a funnel build, which creates warm traffic, which buys SEO from him. You get what I'm saying? You literally make this is what's hilarious about this. By him not selling SEO on the front end, he literally makes more sales of SEO than he did trying to sell SEO on the front end. Like more, he now has more SEO customers than he did when he was selling SEO on the front. Get what I'm saying? So, Kimberly, are we going to learn how to build funnels? Yeah, yes, Kimberly, you're in my class on day 4. You're going to learn how to build the pieces of funnels. So like the scripting of all of it. Yeah, you're going to see how to do it using AI. Okay, cool. So, client lifetime value. So this is all business is an equation of these variables: CAC and LTV or LTGP. So CAC is cost to acquire a customer. LTV is lifetime value. Now LTGP is lifetime gross profit. It's the same thing as LTV, but it accounts for margins to fulfill on a client. So CAC is just a function of how much you spend to acquire a customer in both time and money, right? Time is just a different form of money. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you were to replace yourself, you would need to do so with money. Does that make sense? Like if you were doing something with your time, with labor, and you didn't want to do it anymore, like the only way that you could replace it is by paying someone. So therefore, time is a form of money. It's the same thing, just represented in a different state of existence. So therefore, expending time to acquire a customer is still a cost. Does that make sense to everybody? That in order to get a customer, you must expend either time or money. And therefore, there was always a cost associated with acquiring a customer, even if you're not spending money on ads. Okay, cool. So lifetime value is how much you will make from a client through their entire life cycle of being a customer of yours. So if you charge $2,000 per month and your average client will stay for 5 months before they churn, this means your lifetime value is 2,000 times 5 or $10,000. Now, this doesn't mean that every single customer is going to stay for exactly 5 months. It means that you're going to have some that stay for 1 month and you're going to have some that stay for 35 months. You know what I'm saying? Like there's going to be a huge wide range of this that occurs, but like it's always going to come to be some average, and you're going to have a lifetime value of your client, what your average client is worth. So now lifetime gross profit, LTGP, is lifetime value, but just accounting for the incremental cost it takes to service a client. So using that same example of $2,000 times 5, but your cost to fulfill a customer is about 20%, then that means your gross profit per customer is $1,600 a month. And if they stay for 5 months, that would mean your LTGP is $8,000. Now, let's say your CAC, your cost to acquire a customer, is $1,000. That would mean your ROI is $8,000 because that's your LTGP, your lifetime gross profit, divided by your CAC. So you're making an 8x return. Okay, now here's what's important to understand about this. It would also mean that you only have a take-home profit of $600 in the first month. Why? Because you collected $2,000 from the client. It costs $400 to service them, and you spent $1,000 on the cost to acquire customers. So what's left in month 1? It's $600. Okay, now this can get even crazier at like turbo scale. So like for everyone watching this right now, we in our businesses currently make about $1.3 million per month. On one of our offers at ListKit, the cost to acquire a customer is $2,300. The average amount collected when they start, I think, is $2,100. So we're actually negative on month one. And that's how it works at turbo scale, right? I like profound scale. But in the beginning, it normally costs less to acquire customers in the beginning. And as you scale more and more, the cost goes up linearly, generally linearly. Okay, cool. So how do you get rich? Like, what are the actual mechanics of you? Like, how do you make a lot of money? We have 290 people live right now. It's actually going up, which is crazy. Last time I looked, it was 260. That's insane. Okay, cool. So how do you get rich? It's by increasing lifetime value of a customer. So how do you increase lifetime value, or the average amount of money you make per client you acquire? There are only 3 ways to do this. It's either reduce churn, which means keeping the customers longer through retention. Offering downsells. When they are going to churn, you instead sell them something else to squeak out some additional profit. And you implement upsells. When they're making money with you, upsell them higher packages that either introduce different stuff or more of the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So let's say that for every 4 hours of outreach or sales you do, you were able to acquire one $2,000 per month client, which is like theoretic. Like it's kind of on par with what you could see, right? So we'll quantify your 4 hours of labor as being about $1,000. So we're going to say you're worth $250 an hour. So that means, again, like an example before, and I'm going through some math here. Quick, guys, after I'm going through like this whole little math section, we're going to talk about like actual front end cold traffic offers you can sell. Okay, cool. So let's say your CAC is $1,000. We'll assume your gross margin to 80%, and your average client stays for 5 months. That would mean your lifetime gross profit is $8,000, and you have an 8x ROI on client acquisition efforts. Okay. Just to like graphically show this to you, it's you have your outreach or sales activity. You spend 4 hours on that. We're quantifying the 4 hours as being $1,000. This directly results in you getting a client that is $2,000 a month. There's an 80% gross profit margin on you fulfilling the client, which means there's $1,600 of gross profit per month. The average client's going to stay for 5 months. That means their LTGP is 8K, so you have an 8x return. Can we get the stock later? Yes. And yes, this stock is made with Gamma. Okay, cool. So we'll then assume, again, we're talking just because I know you guys are like asking like a bunch of different stuff in the chat right now. Like, is this going to be on day 2? Is this going to be on day 3? So I'm going to recap everything that's just been asked in the chat real quick, because I need you guys to focus on what I'm saying right now, right? Yes, you will get the recordings after this. Yes, you will get the Gamma doc after this. Yes, there will be N8N stuff tomorrow about building agents. Yes, we're going to talk about outreach and whatnot. I need you guys to pay attention to what we're talking about right now, right? This is integral for you to understand. Okay, cool. So we'll then assume that you add an upsell that 40% of your customers take, right? So we have the $2,000 a month offer. We're going to add an upsell to our business now. 40% of the customers take the upsell. The upsell also costs $2,000 a month. And the people who buy that stay for another 5 months. So the additional lifetime gross profit added to 40% of your customers is another $8,000. That means your average LTGP across all customers went from 8,000 to 11,200. So that means who would prefer to make $11,200 from a client instead of $8,000? Because I would. So let's then say you add a downsell to the people who are churning, and that 40% of the people who are going to churn end up taking your downsell. So you have a client, they're going to churn. They're like, well, would you like to buy this smaller thing instead? Right? Eva, am I sharing my screen? Yeah. Everyone can see my screen, right? Eva, that might just be you. Yeah, everyone can see my screen. It might be like a tab, Eva, that you have to click somewhere. Okay, let's say the downsell is $1,000 a month, and they stay on that for another 5 months. This makes your new LTGP 12,800 instead of 11,200. So you went from having an $8,000 LTGP to $12,800, which is a 60% increase. So this means you increase your take-home profit income by 60% without acquiring any additional new clients. You know what I'm saying? What does this mean you're able to do? It means you're able to increase your spend to acquire new customers, outwork or outbid other people running the same business as you because you can afford to spend more. You could take home more profit by working less because 80% of the work of any business is the acquisition of new customers. Does that make sense? Can I make my screen bigger? Yeah, I think I can actually. Okay, cool. All of this only works if what you are selling on the front end is a front end cold traffic optimized offer. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay, so if you try to start a business and end up picking a warm traffic offer, you will legitimately sign 0 clients. 0. I think what's important to what to think is a lot of people think that if I have an offer that's a little bit worse than this person over here, I'll get a little bit less clients than them. No, it doesn't work like that. It means that you're going to get 0 and they get all of them. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, cool. So now, what everyone's asking at this point, well, what are the front end cold traffic offers you should be selling? Let's talk about those right now. But hold on, I gotta turn on a light because it's getting dark. I got these little lights up here that turn different colors. So I got red right now. Should we rock red or should we do purple? Red is lucky. All right, we'll do red. I like red's my favorite color. So we're gonna do red. All right, cool. You look like Dexter in red. All right, bet. Okay, cool. So the offers you should sell. There's dozens of different offers you can sell as a front end cold traffic offer, and I've grouped them into 4 categories. So ads or funnels agency, content agency, lead generation agency, and AI automation agency. Okay, so important note is that when you are expanding your LTV by creating downsells and upsells, you are a lot of the times grabbing offers from other categories, right? So one example might be that you're selling a VSL funnel build and advertising to a client. You then upsell them LinkedIn ghostwriting or email marketing. Or you have a client on LinkedIn ghostwriting. And then, for instance, you say, hey, you could really build an email list. And then you build like a lead magnet funnel for the person, and you start running their email list for them, and you start writing their emails for them as well, using AI, of course. You know what I'm saying? You cross-sell different stuff together. So now I'm going to walk through the actual offers and descriptions of those offers that you can sell as front-end cold traffic optimized offers. So for each of these, remember that AI can actually do most of the work for you. Don't get too confused on this. These are just examples. I'm going to give you all access to a pre-trained GPT that can come up with front-end cold traffic offers for you. I'm going to give you the link to that in just a second, actually. And what I'm going to do is let you play with it while I use the bathroom. But I'm going to walk through these real quick. Okay, cool. So, okay, ads funnels. And these are just examples, by the way. This is a non-exhaustive list. I'm just showing you to explain them to you. Okay, so video sales letter funnel build out. So what I showed you guys earlier, an example of like, I showed you that page, it was me on that's a video sales letter funnel. This is actually the funnel that I'm gonna be walking you through on day 4, like every piece of it and how to build every piece of it. So this means you build a VSL funnel for a client where you script and edit a VSL, write a sales page for the funnel, set up all the automations in the tech, set up the email flows, script, edit, and run the ads to them to get traffic to the page. And the goal is to book sales calls for their sales team. Because again, you're selling to, I'll talk about this later on in this class, but you're selling to B2B companies. B2B companies they're selling expensive stuff. So generally they have a sales team. Another example is like a webinar funnel build out. So you build a webinar funnel for a client where you script and design the slides for a webinar. This can be completely done with AI, by the way. Create and write a webinar registration page, script out the emails pre and post webinar, script, edit, and run the ads. Goal is to get webinar registrants for a client and have people buy a 2K to 5K offer on the webinar. Email list management, you write email broadcasts and email flows for a client. That would be like you script out contextual and behavioral based email flows. Like if someone puts their email in on this form, let's make a whole sequence of emails that make sense for what they bought. You know what I'm saying? Ideate and script out broadcast emails. So like a lot of you guys are on my email list and you'll see I send like 4 or 5 emails a week. That's that. It's like literally you're doing that for a client. You're inciting replies to emails to manually book prospects in and book calls for them. You get the point. Content agency. So that's like LinkedIn, Twitter ghostwriting. That's like you doing LinkedIn or you're just writing the post for them. So for instance, you do a 1-hour interview with a client once a month, ask a ton of questions, and you get the questions by asking in AI what questions you should ask, by the way. You're going to feed those answers into an LLM with examples of good posts. We kind of talked about this earlier. Have it spit out 20 to 30 posts per platform for the client. Schedule the posts out, and then congratulations, that's the deliverables for a client. YouTube management, you script and edit out YouTube content for a client, where you generate the content strategy for the client, script out YouTube videos for them, have them film the content, get the content edited. They're cheap editors. Again, this is all done with AI, and you're going to see an application of a lot of this AI stuff too, because it might not be immediately obvious to you yet how to do this. Like, how would I get AI to do that? You're going to be seeing a lot of this in the rest of this challenge. Lead gen agency. So it could be like cold email lead gen agency. You send cold emails for a client where you scrape massive prospect lists for clients. This is literally what our SaaS list kit does. Like that, this is the company I was telling you guys about. Write automated sequences for them, set up domains and inbox pools to distribute sending volume, automate sending 3,000 cold emails a day. Like this is an offer. Like this is what people sell. LinkedIn outreach, where you actually like go into Sales Navigator and like conduct outreach on behalf of clients. AI automations, build outs. You'll see some more stuff like this in tomorrow. Building sales systems, operation systems, GTM systems, chatbots, vibe coded infrastructures. This is like data management and whatnot. This is like technical type stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you here is there are tons of other possible things you can sell to increase LTV in combinations of things you could sell together. So, for instance, you could set up simple lead form ads for a client where you run low budget ads for them and then call and text all the leads that come through them. And you book an appointment for the client. And then how do you make money with that? It's either via retainer or you get paid per the amount of leads that get booked in. You get, I'll get into pricing in just a second. But another example is if you were doing LinkedIn ghostwriting, you could upsell sending outbound messages to the people interacting with the LinkedIn content and book in appointments for the clients. And then you can get paid performance bonuses when you book in the calls. If you're doing cold email, you can add cold calling to the positive replies to book more meetings. You can have an AI voice agent do that. If you're doing YouTube, you can add lead magnet creation where you make custom lead magnets for each video and get the people to opt in for the lead magnets where they give their email and write giant email sequences for them. I'm just going through examples of like LTV cross-selling right here. Doesn't seem like you guys are too particularly engaged in that section though. So I want to move on to pricing and how to charge clients. Okay, cool. So a general price range that most B2B companies don't even register as being a big deal is generally between like $1,000 and $2,000. Generally. When you start getting above $2,000 a month, that's when it becomes more of a buying decision. Like people need to like actively think about this a lot more, right? This doesn't mean that $1,000 or $2,000 doesn't require a base level of understanding of sales. You still have to be selling this person, right? So, oh, someone asked what offers are ripping right now. No. I got more to show you. Don't worry. We're not there. You'll see. Okay, so retainers for performance-based pricing. So for a lot of offers, doing performance-based pricing makes sense. So for instance, if you have a lead generation offer, like cold email lead gen, the standard pricing model for that most people successfully sell is a $500 to $1,000 monthly tech fee, because that covers the cost of what you need to actually do for the client. and then $200 to $400 per call booked. Generally, that's what people do. And then you make all your profit based on the calls you get booked for the client. Okay. You'll hear more about this with ROI calculators on class 3 with Dan, but a lot of you might be thinking like $200 a call, $400 a call. Okay. This makes economic sense for a lot of businesses. A lot of these guys will be selling like $10,000 services and they close 15 to 20% of the calls. If they close 20% of the calls, that means they're paying $2,000 to acquire $10,000, which we already talked about CAC and LTV. So the CAC to LTV makes sense for them. And again, like, I think what's important, I'll give you this perspective right now because a lot of you guys might be, well, I'm not a salesperson and like I don't know how to do sales. It's just math. Like again, earlier we talked about how you need to appeal to a client's greed or want for growth, right? And what does that mean? It means that when you sell a service to a client, it literally is to make them more money or to save them time, right? Therefore, any sales conversation in B2B is just a mathematical equation. This is what I'm charging you. This is what your close rate is. This is your cost of your thing. Therefore, your CAC will be $2,000 and you will make $10,000. Therefore, you have a 5x return. That's what the deal is. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not like this like emotional level of like, it's this is the math. So you do not have to start with low prices. So I understand a lot of you guys might literally be like completely incapable of even conceiving the possibility of charging somebody like 5K or 10K for a funnel build out or something. I personally sell funnel build outs for 28K. And yes, we have sold them. I did not make this price up. Like we literally sell them for $28,000 successfully. Now, I want to introduce a concept here to you to explain how that's possible. It's called deliverable stacking or the transfer of logistical intensity. I think I need to add more explanation of this, but like I'll help you visualize it like this. Okay, let's say someone comes to me and they're like, Daniel, I want you to build me a funnel like this one. Like I want this whole funnel right here. And then in order to like make my worth sound as high as possible, I list out like a ton of shit I'm going to do for them. Why do I do that? It's because I'm trying to make it seem as complicated as possible. Not only it's like that's kind of like a way of describing it in like a deceiving fashion, but it's more so like I'm just doing a lot of stuff for them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you do with a client. It's like, how do you get a client to pay you a lot of money? Well, and I'm going to show you an example of this, like actually it's increasing perceived value. It's if I go to someone, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to help you make the offer, set up the entire funnel, do the ad scripts, write the VSL gamma doc, do all your video editing, do the initial ad campaign launch, make all your email sequences and text sequences, build out your automations, recruit an SDR setter for you, recruit a closer for you, do your fulfillment team recruitment, help you scale the campaign, do the daily ads management, and then all that is for 28K. They're like, well, it's kind of a good deal. Now, if I just said, yeah, bro, I'll build you a funnel for 28K, it's like, it's a no. Like, I'm not just giving you 28K, but when I say I'm going to do this and 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 this, now it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense why you would charge that much money. Now, what I'm trying to convey to you guys, if you do the same thing and then you drop a price right here where it's like $2,000, it's like you probably could have got like a substantially higher amount more money for the stuff you do. You get what I'm saying? So, okay. Now what I want to talk to you guys about before I give you like a literal like a GPT to go play with is guarantees. Okay, so adding a guarantee to your offer substantially increases how many calls you get booked by like many orders of magnitude, easily sometimes 8 to 10x. Okay. All of you right now are here with the goal of making a successful business, right? Okay. There are only 3 sections of your business that exist ever. You have lead generation or marketing, sales, and then operations. Those are the 3 sectors of the company. That's it. Where does a person's business fall apart? Where is is everyone familiar with the concept of a bottleneck? Like you have so there's like a hose and you pinch a hose somewhere. Okay, cool, got it. Where is I would like everyone to guess. Is the most people's bottleneck, is it in lead gen, sales, or operations? Yeah, this is interesting. So this is like there's no one clear thing that you guys are all saying. You all don't know where it is. Okay. I have worked with thousands of people trying to do this. Literally thousands. And it's interesting when I say that though, because people, bro, you haven't worked with thousands of people. I could open up Stripe accounts and show you thousands of customers who I've worked with to try and help them build their business. 99, but I don't know about 9, maybe 95. 95% of people, it's lead gen. Yes, Rory, most businesses are demand constrained. Yes, it's the getting of the customer, the attention of the customer at all. It's the lead gen. That's where everyone gets screwed. It's not the sales. You like a lot of you think it's the sales. You think like, wow, I'm not going to be able to go. It's the lead gen, right? Okay. This is important to understand because you probably think closing people on the phone is bottleneck. It's not, right? Okay. The purpose of because we're in the guarantee section right here. So why did I introduce this concept? The purpose of a guarantee is not to close the prospect on the phone. That might sound very strange to you all, but it's to get the prospect on the phone in the first place. Does this make sense to everyone? This is completely backwards from what you would believe. If your outreach messages include a guarantee, or if your back and forth conversation with a prospect, like when they respond to an outreach message, mentions a guarantee, the probability you get the call booked goes up dramatically. Okay, I'm so happy Ruhan just put this in the chat. Yeah, the guarantee doesn't even come up in the calls usually. Okay, so Ruhan literally is someone who has a guarantee and knows that it doesn't come up in the calls, literally like ever. Like 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. The purpose of the guarantee is to solve this bottleneck, the lead gen, because that's where people's problem is. Okay, a lot of people ask me, Daniel, how do I differentiate from other people selling the same thing? And the reason why people ask me this is because they're bottlenecked at lead gen. They know if I had something different, I'd get a lot more people to book a call. The answer is a guarantee. The definition of differentiation is quite literally just being different, right? Most people don't use a guarantee. Therefore, when you use one, you often get 5 to 10 times more calls booked. That's the difference between signing 0 clients and signing 5, or the difference between signing 1 and 10. But most of the time, it's the difference between 0 and 5. Okay, cool. Now, a lot of you who are hearing this for the first time are like, well, how do I not get fucked by refunds? Because of this is actually interesting. I would probably say of all refunds, like 20% of them are justifiable refunds, and 80% of refund requests you'll ever get are like outright fraud. Okay, cool. So how do you not get screwed by fraud? Like people trying to take advantage of refunds. It's by using what's called stipulations. So stipulations are the things that the client is required to do in order to be eligible for the guarantee. Okay. There are 2 types of stipulations. You have a state stipulation. So the client must already have something in order to qualify. And then there's action stipulations. which means the client must do specific or multiple action items in order to qualify for the guarantee. The stipulations to be generated based off of what is required to get results anyway. Does that make sense to everybody what I just said here? Just put a 1 in the chat. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you an example. You're a content agency, and you say your offer is 10 clients signed per month or your money back. That's your guarantee to a client. Here are some example stipulations. Client must stay subscribed to the service for a minimum of 3 months and be fully paid. If they don't pay, and therefore service stops, then it's impossible to get you that result. You know what I'm saying? The client has to actually film the content. That would make sense to have as a stipulation. I want to put my blue light blocking glasses on. I could literally feel my eyes like, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, Ibrahim. So they only get a refund when it's genuinely your own fault. Yeah. That's what you're trying to do. Oral farming was my okay. If the client's accounts are banned or suspended because they're doing some whatever, I don't know, they're scamming people. Look, yeah, you can't get a refund. Okay. If they're not responding to the comments in the videos, they're just ignoring everyone and not doing anything. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Client must have a guarantee on their own offer they're promoting. You don't have to put this in here, but this is one you theoretically could. Okay. Client must maintain a sales closing rate of 15%. Okay, yeah. Okay, now. Let me explain something that's very interesting about this. Your guarantee in this instance, in this example, is 10 clients signed per month, or your money. So it's 10, you have to get them 10 clients. Okay. But you have a stipulation that says they need to close 15% of the calls. So mathematically, what you're actually saying is that you're guaranteeing calls. Does that make sense to everybody? Why the math of that works out? Where it's like mathematically you're only actually guaranteeing them calls, but you're advertising client signed. But at the same time, it's like, well, dude, because at the say you had a client who's like, yeah, bro, you booked me 87 sales calls and I closed 0. It's like, fucking what? What do you mean you closed 0? Like, how is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have this. It's funny, but it's like real. Like that shit happens. Like you will get a client who literally fucking yeah, no shows their own calls. Like, yeah, bro, people do that. Like you'll literally get people who do that. It's completely insane. Okay. If they wish to request a refund, they gotta provide you with the call recordings. That's like one example. Like you could just it's reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's what's required to get results anyway. It's not unreasonable. It quite literally just is what has to be done to get results in the first place. Like you cannot get 10 clients via content without this occurring. Okay. You can also set up contracts in a fashion to where if they do request a refund, it's given in a tiered system. Like if you only got an X amount of clients, it's a tiered refund. Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you guys this real quick. So because there's still a percentage of you who are still going to like people who join our coaching, like AI assisted agency, like client, like actual client extension will still fuck this up. It's actually really interesting. So I want to give you guys an example right here. So Daniel over here, looking for feedback. Been here for months, no sales, nothing is working. I'm trying a bunch of different niches to see if anything sticks. Redid my entire website, sent thousands of emails with extremely limited results. Struggle city, population me. Lost of what to do next besides just send more emails. I'm pitching leads via Google Meta ads. Here's an example of my email pitch. So he's saying nothing is working, nothing sticks. But what you guys don't see is that this guy went through all my offers training, understood the concept that he needs to have a guarantee, and just decided to not have a guarantee. And he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip literally every fucking thing that Daniel told me to do. And I'm going to start doing outreach and just completely skip the part where it makes it work at all. So then we got an example of a guy, Dan. There's a lot of Dans here. We got Daniel. I'm Dan. Another Dan James. You know what's funny about Dan James here is one, you're gonna actually hear from him on day 4. He's gonna come on, and my middle name is also James. That's so weird. Okay, cool. So, this is Dan James responding to Daniel Sandoval. He said, when I first joined CA, I was terrified to charge 3K and scared to guarantee 10K or you don't pay. Dan Fazio told me to just do it, and I listened blindly because he said it would work. Since then, I have literally increased my prices, and literally no one even cares about the actual guarantee. It's just to get them on the call like Daniel always preaches. Been through exactly how you feel when you feel like nothing is working, but I cannot promise you enough what they teach works amazingly well. If CA tells me it's a good idea to jump off a building, that would literally be me. And it's a meme of somebody jumping off a building. Yeah, funny. Now he has the guarantee front and center. That's funny. Another guy who said basically the same thing. He was just kind of just walking through like, hey, here's the math behind it, but it's like you need to do what Daniel's saying. It's like what I was saying earlier, like guys, it's the difference between you sign. It's not the difference between you signing like 3 clients and 5 clients. It's the difference between you signing 0 clients and 5 clients. 0. You're trying to avoid the 0. You know what I'm saying? Well, I really am aura farming in these glasses on. Okay. Couple things. Only like 1 out of 70 to 100 clients are going to ask for a refund, even if you don't get results. 1 out of 10 people in the sales calls are going to ask about the guarantee, even if they got on the phone and responded to your message that included a guarantee. If they do ask about the guarantee, you just walk them through the stipulations. If they don't agree to your stipulations, then, dude, if you were like selling someone a 10 clients guaranteed and you walk them through the stipulations and they threw a hissy fit about this, it's like, I guarantee you need to not sign them as a client. They're going to be a terrible human being. Like, that's a huge problem if they weren't agreeing to that. Okay. Here are some examples of offers from people who started at 0, just like you, and now actively do $10,000 to $30,000 per month. The actual syntax of how the offer written varies. Again, you guys are getting this Gamma doc, so you can look at it later. Okay, so I'll walk through a couple of these. I'll build a video sales order funnel for your business and guarantee you a 3-to-1 return on your money or you don't pay. I'll build a video sales order funnel for your business and guarantee you at least 30,000 in profit or you don't pay. Okay, I want to make a quick one time. I was in a challenge and I told people to like come up with the offer and put their offer in the chat, and everyone was like saying like correct offers, like or you don't pay, like or you get a refund. And then one person said, or I work for free until you do. And then every person started saying, or I work for free until you do. And I stopped the whole thing. I was like, who said it's okay for you to do, or you work for free until you do? That's not, you're missing the point. That's not an offer. That is cold traffic optimized. You will be a Daniel Sandoval, if you do not follow the directions. You know what I'm saying? It's a, or you don't pay. It's a, or you get a refund, not, or you work for free until you do. Okay. I want to pull this up real quick. This is a custom GPT. Can you guys, if I put this in the chat, are you able to click this? Is everyone able to click that? Put a 1 in the chat if you can click that successfully. Okay, bet. All right. So watch what I'm doing here. I'm going to say, generate an offer. Okay, that's one example. Gives you some stipulations. Oh shit. Yeah, hold on. How do I pin the message? Oh, you can't. I can't pin it. I'll just put it again. Okay. Gives you stipulations. You can ask it what the deliverables would be. Okay, now here's what else you can do. Give me 10 offers. Now you're going to get 10. All right, we're not done yet. The link it needs to say, yeah, it might say that if you don't have a Chat GPT account. You should be able to do it if you have a free Chat GPT account. Yeah, you just have to be signed in. Okay, cool. Now, I'm gonna say, yeah, everyone's gonna get the links to this in an email. It probably at like 10 p.m. EST will be sent to you. Well, the Gamma doc and everything, you're gonna get it. Okay, but I'm gonna put it back in the chat again. Okay, now you can also say, give me 10 offers that you personally come up with given the guidelines of Daniel Fazio. I want them to be offers he has not explicitly. Why can I not spell? Explicitly stated. I want you to come up with them. Okay, so now this is saying it'll come up with them. So I'm telling ChatGPT, take what I have and you come up with offers. And then it can also do that as well. Now it's going to come up with a bunch of these. So you can play with this. And what I want to do real quick is give you about 60 seconds to play with this. Is this what you call an AI agent? No, this is not an AI agent. This is an LLM. Because this is only cognition. It's not data transfer as well. Okay. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, let you guys play with this for 60 seconds, and then I'll be right back. I want to put it again in the chat so you guys don't lose it.
Cool. All right, guys. If anyone has questions while Daniel's taking a break, drop them in the chat while you guys test out this AI. Someone asked, what is this trained on? It's trained on like hundreds of hours of Daniel's content. And there's ways to make AI prompts using AI, which I'll show you guys on Wednesday, like how to create a prompt that makes outreach messages so that you can just input it into Manus and it will create the message for you the same every single time without a lot of variance. Can we sell e-com email marketing services as front end? Yes. Saphir, yes. Most likely you're going to use a guarantee or free deliverable, like a sample email flow. Tips for getting first ever client. Do outreach, Dream 100 until you sign a client, which I'll show. That's my class on Wednesday is manual one-to-one outreach, highly personalized, giving away a sales asset, a free deliverable, something like that. Is ListKit an agency or a SaaS? It's a SaaS, but we sell it using an agency service. So we build a cold email system for you so that you use ListKit's data. But this often, it's basically an agency service that we have to fulfill. So,
cool. Should you put the guarantee in your headline and the landing page? Yeah, it goes in the headline.
All right, we'll save the rest of the Q&A for the end.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we're gonna keep it. Are we going over niches? Yeah, we're going over niches. I'll put the GPT in there again for you guys. Okay, cool. Everyone see the Gamma doc again? Yes. All right, cool. All right, picking a niche. so someone just said, "Are we going over picking a niche?" I go fucking straight to picking a niche. All right, cool. All right, so you don't have a niche when you're a beginner. The literal last thing you should be doing is niching down. Your only job is to find literally any business who is willing to work with you. So the only thing you need to be doing is finding business who fit the economic parameters I'm going to give you in a section. So I'm going to give you a whole set of economic parameters that a niche needs to follow. And then we're going to do some crazy AI stuff as well. So you should be working with anybody and everybody who hits these economic parameters. Then you figure out who you like working with and who you're good at working with over time. So this is a multiple months long process. So in the first maybe like 6 months of your business, you do not have a defined niche. So who you're selling to now is not who you're going to be selling to in the future. You will work with dozens of different clients. There's literally zero reason to niche down. You might be under the idea that niching down makes it easier to get clients. And that's because you watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people telling you to do that. They say stuff like, this is the first step to sign a client, except they're all poor. So don't listen to them. Your niche right now, that's how saturation happens. when someone tells you like a specific niche, and then everyone starts selling the same offer to the same niche with the same script, and it's like, oh, nothing works. Like, yeah, because you're all doing the same thing. So you need to avoid that, right? So your niche right now is just people who sell expensive stuff, ideally $10,000 plus. That's it. So in this section, we're gonna do 5 things. I'm gonna explain the $15,000 LTV rule to you and give you the economic parameters. I'm gonna give you a mega AI prompt to find every conceivable niche you possibly can that fits our economic parameters. I'm going to give you a mega AI prompt to conduct deep research on any of those niches so that you can get any of the necessary information you need in order to feel comfortable selling to them. And I'm going to give you a list of 500 niches already extracted for you. And a GPT that can help you pick a niche based on your offer you've chosen. Okay. And then how to use AI to easily find test batches of every single one of these niches to do outreach to. Cool. Okay, cool. So, but Daniel, why do we need to pick from this list instead of doing proven niches? A lot of people might say, well, let me approve a niche instead. Okay. So there's a message from Cobrin. So he joined Client Ascension September 18th. This was sent on October 29th. So about 40 days. After the call for offers with Daniel, I expanded my niche beyond just info for this month. This expansion in markets resulted in $43,000 total in new business. 6K and 3.5K were Wise Bank transfers. The best part about these unsophisticated markets is they look at you like you invented fire when you break down your deliverables. Okay. It's really important that you sell. I call them obscure niches because they don't get pitched stuff. Like you do not want to be talking to people who are constantly pitched stuff. You get so many more responses when you go to obscure niches. Like imagine you go to a guy and you pitch him like a funnel build, for instance, like I showed you, and like he's never been pitched marketing a single time in his entire life. He's like, oh wow, yeah, sure, that sounds really good. That's literally what happens. Okay, cool. Because what you were thinking of proven niches are not some kind of shortcut, right? What the actual shortcut is selling to people who would never get pitched. So when you go to a high LTV business and you pitch them any kind of marketing service at all, they are amazed and astounded and think you invented fire. So this means your response rates are insanely high. These are the niches that people default to 99% of the time and therefore are the most saturated. Info, coaching, software, and home services. I want anybody in here who has like any friends who run an agency, literally every single one of them is selling to either info or coaching or agencies, other agencies, software companies, or home service businesses. Nothing else. It's just that. So it's almost impossible for the average person to come up with any niche that isn't one of these. And I've generated a list of 500 of them for you. So first, I'm going to show you how the list was generated and how to do deep research on a niche within that list, then give you the actual file of the 500 niches. Okay, cool. And then we're going to pick out random niche, and I'll show you how to use an AI agent to find the contact info from the people. Cool. So first thing, we're going to go over the $15,000 LTV rule first, because it's super important for you to understand when you pick a client. The simple reasoning is this. It's easier to get good results for clients when what the client sells is very expensive. This is the simplified version of what I'm about to explain to you. It's way, way easier for every person involved in the transaction if what the client is selling is really expensive. If you have a client who sells cheap products and they have customers with low LTV, it's hard to get them results. So key metrics, again, we talked about lifetime value. We talked about lifetime gross profit. We talked about customer acquisition costs. What we haven't talked about yet is average order value or cash collected. So you'll often hear AOV or average order value in e-com when it's low ticket products. You'll hear cash collected when it's a sales call based business. It's both of them are just the amount of cash that is collected on day one. Okay. So golden rule. The client LTV must be at least 5 times their CAC. Ideally 10x. $15,000 LTV rule. Okay. For high ticket businesses selling through sales calls or sales meetings, CAC typically ranges from $1,500 to $4,500. Okay. It doesn't matter what niche you guys work with. It doesn't matter what you personally, every single one of you selling any kind of B2B offer, whether the B2B offer is your offer or it's a client offer, the cost to acquire a customer is going to be $3,000 plus or minus $1,500. It's going to be between $1,500 and $4,500. That just is what it's going to be. There's very, very little. This applies for like 99.9, like pretty much every single B2B offer on the planet. It's going to be, the CAC is going to be between these. That's just what it's going to be. What does that mean though? Because to follow the golden rule of clients, that means your clients need an LTV of at least $15,000 for the economics to work. Does that make sense to everybody what I'm saying here? Because for your clients to get a client, if it's like through ads, that's generally what it's going to be. Therefore, what they sell needs to be 15K because we need them to be between a 5X and a 10X. Right? This also typically means that their product or service for sale should be between $5,000 and $10,000 or more. So a $3,000 cost to acquire a customer on a $15,000 LTV is 5X. This is doable. You can scale. You could scale this business. That would be a viable business to try and scale. A $2,000 CAC on a 15K LTV is 7.5X. You can scale that business. A 3K CAC on an $8,000 LTV is 2.6X. There's extremely little wiggle room here to make money. There's not enough profit being made to account for all the stuff going on. I wouldn't scale that business. 5X LTV is normally the minimum because you need to account for gross profit margins, which then gets into analyzing LTGP instead. Okay, cool. So just real quick, gross margins versus net margins. Gross margins typically mean the direct cost to fulfill that client, the incremental cost. Net margins are just all of the other things in business. So I'm going to give you an example of like, for instance, of a random niche that's going to be on the list: IVF clinics. So say they have 5 doctors on staff. Every time they're working with the patient, she has to pay the following in order to actually do the procedure: the salary and time of the doctors, nurses, embryologists, and lab techs, the drugs, the labware, the liquid nitrogen storage, the anesthesiologist fees, blood test lab fees, right? This is going to account for 60 to 80% normally. This does not account for all the fixed expenses of a business, like rent, utilities, cleaning, front desk, equipment, IT systems, malpractice insurance, legal and accounting. We're talking just the cost of direct lead service. Isn't IVF though a B2C offer? Yeah, it is. This is like one of the very few exceptions of a B2C offer that would be high ticket. Here's a simpler example. Somebody runs a marketing agency. They have an account manager, a copywriter, and a marketing tech guy, and a media buyer. So there's like a big agency that would have all these people. Each of these people can handle 10 clients each. Each of these people get paid $4,000 a month. One client needs all 4 of them. Therefore, if they can handle 10 clients each and a client needs all 4 of them, that means the cost to fulfill a client is $1,600. To have 80% gross margins, each client would need to be paying $80,000 a month. I'm sorry, $8,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So your clients need to make money. This is literally the only reason they're a business, like specifically to make money. And it is way easier for them to make money if what they're selling is high ticket and high margin. Like it's so much easier. Every person involved here. Fundamentally, what you are doing in business is scalping money off of profitable growth. You execute for your customer. Therefore, the customer must be profitable because that literally is where your money comes from. And it's way easier for a customer to have extremely high amounts of profitable growth if they're selling something that's very expensive. It's so much easier, right? Just to drive this point forward. Like here's just a random little example. I was in a conversation with some guys who, like 7-figure guys. We were talking about upsell processes. And all of us in the conversation kind of concluded that the best time to upsell a customer is when the customer makes money, like immediately right there. So say you have a client that just signed a big deal and they pulled in like a $30,000 check or something. The best time to sell that client something that's $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 is literally the moment they acquire that money, like before they spend it on something else. I does anybody have a problem? Does anyone in this chat have a problem where if they own a credit card, they literally like can't control themselves and they spend the entire limit of the credit card? Just put a 1 in the chat if that's you. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you know someone who's like that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So a lot of you guys, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, are very high agency, very high IQ people. If you are on here right now and we're an hour and a half in and there's 276 of you, like, and it's like a Monday night, you could be like doing literally anything else right now. All of you in Europe, it's like really late. You're like very responsible, high IQ people. What you need to understand is that the vast majority of humans on the planet are not like you. They're just not. When they get money, they will spend the money immediately. Like that. It's gone. It comes in, it's out. It might as well be to you. Get what I'm saying? And that kind of sounds like, and it's like, that kind of sounds like evil in a way. But it's like, but it's not. It's almost like you're saving them. Like if what you're selling them like works, then you know you get what I'm saying? Like you can't like just like a little kind of like side anecdotal little mindset that you can't have like shame around like what you're selling. Like if you got a client and they're working with you, clearly what you're doing is working, right? It's clearly a good product. Like don't operate with any kind of shame. So low ticket death spiral, low profit, high CAC, results in cash crunches and business failure, right? So like this is just an example of like, oh, I want to work with supplement companies. Okay, well, product price $50, the cost of goods sold is 20, the gross profit is 30, the average LTV is $400, the CAC might be $180, and the actual profit per customer is 220. The problem is there's zero wiggle room here. There's negative initial cash, so they can't scale. They're in constant financial stress. The CAC isn't CACing. Yeah. Can only afford to pay an agency like $1,000 a month. There's late payments. There's micromanagement. The client is under constant fear. Like, it's very stressful to be around people who are impoverished. And I want to make a distinguishment between broke and poor. Broke means you're temporarily without resources. Poor means you are somebody who's just existentially broke. You know what I'm saying? Like those people are like, they're like high stress people. Everything's a problem. Their clients like this exist. Just because somebody runs a business doesn't mean that they like got their stuff together. Like that is not the case in any capacity at all. Okay, cool. So you want clients with high profit so they could cover the CAC, which means positive cash flow and acquisition, which means that you have sustained growth. And no one's like in this constant state of hyper anxiety and fear. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be like calm. No, I'm not poor. I'm just temporarily out of resources. All right. So say someone has like a 15K offer, the cost to deliver is 2K. That means the gross profit is 13K. The CAC is 3K. That means the net profit per customer is 10 grand, right? It's immediately cash flow positive. There's massive room for testing and optimization. They can afford to pay $8,000 plus agency fees. They're happy. They're not stressed. There's 5 to 10 hours per work per month versus 60 for this kind of client. So these are the economic parameters. High LTV, high gross margin, high upfront revenue collected. The client understands marketing and like the concept of that you need to put money in to acquire new customers. And then they have adequate budgets, so they can afford like $3,000 a month without strain, right? So avoid supplement companies, e-com brands with products under $200, restaurants, local services with low prices, drop shipping, affiliate marketers, any business with thin margin, literally any company selling anything low tickets is way too difficult. Okay. So this is an example of this is the prompt that you use to find these. So obviously, I'm not going to sit here and paste this entire thing inside of the chat. It's going to be it won't do. But you can paste it later on if you want. But I've already pre-ran this. So what you need to understand with this is that ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok will rate limit you doing this and give you a ton of duplicates. They do this because they're not credit based. In order to execute mega tasks, and we're going to be doing a lot of mega tasks. Like Christian's going to show you some crazy, crazy man shit tomorrow. I'm sorry, on day 3. You need to use an AI agent that is credit based. Therefore, in 99% of my work, I use Manus. Okay. Manus is by far the single best AI in the market right now. And it's an agent, so it has independent action ability. So here's the actual conversation link from my account. So you can like replay tasks on Manus, which is pretty cool. Are they secure? It's a Chinese company, guys. Khalil, what are you fucking uploading state secrets? Like, who gives a fuck? What are they going to do? Steal your what are they going to fucking do? All right. So, okay. Manus does this thing when let me just scroll this prompt. This is a giant prompt. This is like a profoundly massive prompt, right? Okay. So when you paste something into Manus, it like something that's huge, it does this thing where it says like pasted underscore content, right? So this is that whole prompt in here. So I just say like execute the prompt and pasted underscore content. Like just because you'll see that a lot in Manus when we tell you'll just say that. Okay. So this did this whole crazy thing where it's doing a whole bunch of research and like it's insane. And then this is the sheet. There's 500 niches on here. Did you compare Manus to GenSpark? No, I've heard about GenSpark though. I gotta try it. But I have this whole thing for you here. And I'm gonna give the sheet to everybody right now. Here you go. Here's 500 niches. We're gonna see fucking 300 people in the fucking Google sheet. All right, cool. So, due to heavy collaborator use, some tools for the spreadsheet may be unavailable. That's okay. All right, I guess we all can't access it at the same time. All right, this is the accompanying Google Doc that explains it. You guys are gonna get this one too. Yeah, it's view only. You can go to file and make a copy though. You should be can everyone do that? Does that function exist for you? File, make a all right, cool. All right, got it. All right. Now I want to get so just for quick context here. But some people are saying no. Okay, all right. Getting this full output from Manus costed 330 credits. Manus is $19 a month for 1,900 credits, but all the plans have double credits right now. So it's $19 a month for 3,800 credits. So it costed me $1.65 to generate that giant list, which would have taken a human 4 weeks and 300 plus hours to create. Oh, it's 4,000 credits now instead of 3,800. Nice. Jim, are you putting your fucking Manus invitation things for the bonus credits? That's funny. Hold on, let me. No, you guys can use mine, so I get bonus credits. Okay. So again, if Everyone will get access to all this, all the links and everything. Okay, so this right here is a deep research mega prompt. Okay, so you'll see this a lot in prompts I give you guys. I always highlight what you need to put in yellow. So I'm preparing to offer marketing services to pick a niche. And this is I think this is 17 parts. This is going to give you like pretty much every single thing you could conceivably need to feel comfortable selling into that niche, because you might feel awkward like outreaching to customer success training companies where it's like you don't know anything about that. So what you do is you copy that and then you go over here to this prompt and you replace this right here, and then you put that in Manus, and then it does this giant thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do something awesome. So if you don't know what niche to pick, just pick 5 different completely random ones. Okay, so literally just go into the same conversation that you did the previous prompts in and just say, pick 5 of these at random. Just tell an AI to pick you 5. Okay. Then what you're going to do is use an AI agent feature on Manus to build a quick leads list. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay. So to test which niche you work with, you're going to pick 5 random ones, and you're going to do 20 pieces of outreach to one niche per day. So that looks like day 1 is 20 outreach messages to niche 1, 20 outreach messages to niche 2, 20 outreach messages to niche 3, then niche 4, then niche 5. And you could theoretically do this for 10 niches or 15 or 20. But what I'm saying is that you got to really fuck this up to not get any responses or calls booked, because these are obscure niches, right? So, okay, I'm gonna open up this conversation here. I think it's this one. Oh, hold on, I gotta move this. I want to show you the actual thing on Manus. Okay, so what I was saying, randomly pick 10 niches from the list. Okay, cool. Give me 10 random ones. Now, this is actually good that this happened. I'll show you what happened. So I said, find me 20 companies and contact information for decision makers at M&A advisory. Hold on, I'm gonna put this in here. Okay. I would like the full names, position, email address, phone number, and the maximum amount of contact information you can find from them. Okay. This didn't do what I wanted it to do. It said, oh, no, you can't do that. And then I said, yeah, you can do it. You've done it before. Go find them. Okay. And then it did it. The AI is going to do that sometimes. Oh, I can't do that. But yeah, you can. And then it does it. Okay. Now, this again didn't do what I wanted it to do, because some of these were just like F last. It was wrong. So I said, so I just said it again. Find me 20 companies that contact information for decision making. I just picked another random niche. Asset protection planning companies. I would like full names, positions, email addresses, phone number, and a maximum amount of contact information you can find in them. What you want Manus to do, and you'll see it, is it's called wide research. It'll look like this. And it'll have like a little thing where it's like, do you want to conduct wide research? It's going to cost between this many credits. Yes, no, yes. Okay. And then it conducts wide research on 20 people. And then you get the contact information for these people. It's great. And like you did nothing. It's an AI agent that did it. It just does it itself. Okay. Now, here's what I did. I said, one of those people you put on the list is Jacob Stein. So he was just some dude that was on the list. I said, please help me write a 2 to 3 sentence cold email offering to help him acquire more customers for his company through ads and funnels. Frame the email script as casual and essentially just asking him if he's interested. Use language that is contextual to both his industry, company, and himself based on whatever you can find out about him through research. Okay. This is what it said. It gave me different versions. Hey, Jacob, I saw you're teaching 50 plus seminars a year and wrote the book in California asset protection, literally. I help attorneys like you who already have the credibility turn that into a steady flow of qualified high net worth clients. Like HNW means high net worth. You would know what that means. Through targeted ads and automated funnels. Curious if you're open to a quick conversation about scaling up your client acquisition without adding more speaking gigs to your calendar. Hey, Jacob, came across your work in California asset protection. Noticed you're doing the seminar circuit pretty heavily. I work with tax and asset protection attorneys to build out ad campaigns and funnels that bring in pre-qualified clients who are already familiar with your expertise. Would you be interested in exploring how that might work? I would send these messages. Okay. Do you see like it just said this shit where it's like 50 plus seminars a year? And so I was like, why is it saying that? So I said, why are you mentioning seminars? Did you find somewhere that he does a bunch of seminars? And it says, yeah, from his official Alliant Law bio, he said he does 50 seminars a year. I'm like, wow. That's amazing. That's great. Could you share the specific? Yeah, this specific chat is the link that's linked in the Gamma doc. You'll have it. I'm like, wow. That's so amazing. And then what you do is you take that list of 20 people, you copy, you open Gmail, you copy the email, you put that in there, and then you copy the message you sent and you click the send button. And then you do that 20 times a day. And then you wait. you just fucking do that all day. It's crazy what AI can do. And yeah, ChatGPT couldn't do it. Only Manus can do this. An agent could do this. Now, would you need an website, email? No. You can do it with a Gmail. But ideally, you want ideally, but all right, cool. So I just put that prompt in here. This is the Manus output. Kind of how I would go about it. Okay, guys. So that's it for class 1. Now, I'm gonna do a little bit of Q&A here as I'm having a good time. But class 2, you're gonna be learning from Lucas how to actually build AI agents that do autonomous tasks. So like what I showed you here, Manus, like you're gonna learn N8N tomorrow and how to build like it's like flows of shit that occur. Like you'll see what I mean. It's pretty cool. Class 3, you're gonna be learning more in-depth strategies around doing client outreach and also how to conduct the sales process and close the clients once you have them on the phone. Christian and I came up with some like crazy Manus shit you'll see on class 3. You'll have no idea that Manus could do. Bro, it's like you're gonna lose your fucking minds when you see what Christian does. It's really cool. All right, cool. Then class 4 is you're gonna be learning advanced marketing strategies from me. How to use AI to conduct the strategies, and then the tactical mindset you need to actually make this business successful. Again, after class 4 is when we're going to give you guys an absolutely insane offer we have never done before. Yeah, so there's like 2 things about that offer before I go into Q&A. It's that we've never done that offer before, and it's our Black Friday offer. And probably won't ever do it again. So it's pretty cool. Just like a sneak peek into class 4, what I'll be teaching is this. It's like this giant flow chart of stuff. Okay, cool. So I want to go into probably like 10, 15 minutes of Q&A here until we hit the 2-hour mark. Does everyone see the there should be an actual Q&A thing. Okay, hold on. You would like to answer this? What does that mean? I don't know how this Zoom Q&A thing works. So everyone, yeah, fuck it, just throw in. Do you find Claude to still be best at copy, or is Manus outperforming there as well? No, I use Manus for everything. I very rarely use Claude. Would you advise for those outside the USA? Should we target the USA as our location? First world countries are fine. Generally, the United States is the best place to do to conduct business. Yeah, generally. What Manus plan would be ideal to start? Yeah, the basic is about 4,000 credits is a lot. That's a lot of credits. I don't think I use 4,000 credits. Same question. Claude was considering Claude agents and skills versus Manus, but no, Manus is just the best. For sending those emails, can we just send it with a regular Gmail, or do we need a domain? No, you can use a regular Gmail. Okay. My current offer is we will get you 10 to 30 qualified sales calls every month from YouTube in 90 days, or you get your money back. We do everything for our client. Ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, posting. They only record for around 2 hours a month. Is this a good offer? If not, how can I modify it? Yeah, it's a good offer. Well, if you want to make it better, guaranteeing the client signed, or just put AI in it somewhere. Just say you use AI. You'll get a lot more people interested just from saying that. What makes a good cold traffic offer and what makes a bad one? New money. You're helping them build something they didn't have before. It's not like optimizing a system they already have. I want you to imagine a situation. Like a lot of you guys are on my email list, right? So I send emails. And then I'll get people sometimes who are like, hey, I can write emails for you. It's like, I already fucking write emails. Yeah. Or I'll get like people who comment under my edited YouTube videos. They're like, hey, do you need an editor? I'm like, I clearly not. You know what I mean? Those aren't good cold traffic offers. Like if you're like, for instance, if you were to sell YouTube, you want to sell YouTube to people who don't do YouTube. So there's this concept. Does everyone know what TAM is? Total addressable market. TAM is the amount of people that are available in a specific market who could conceivably be sold something. So you gotta imagine, of any like market, there's like two halves to it. So like say like of all the say all B2B companies is a market, and what you're selling is like cold email as a service. There exist only two types of B2B companies. There's those that actively do cold email and those that do not actively do cold email. It is always more efficient to sell as a front end cold traffic offer, helping someone start something they don't have. So it's helping the people start cold email, not going to the people who already do cold email and saying, I can help it. But that's the difference between generally what a cold traffic offer is. Would you start free for the first clients? George, generally I don't tell people to work for free. I generally tell people, like, if you have to, at least do it for performance. It literally makes zero sense at all to do it exclusively for free without any form of performance. But normally, George, what happens is, if you feel like say you overcame the lead gen bottleneck and you've got people on the call and like you still like you're getting on a bunch of calls and you cannot close people, like you literally like feel like no one is closing. Generally, that is from you not deliverable stacking. Remember we talked about earlier where I do this. That's general. Let me actually pull up a YouTube video for you guys that I filmed talking about this. I'll just throw it in the chat real quick. It was just an off the cuff rant video. I'm just gonna throw that in the chat. You need to deliverable stack. This is like way more important than you think it is. Do you use Facebook ads or just cold email? I know you personally do YouTube ads. That's where I found you. Wow, that's interesting, Mark. You found me originally from YouTube ads cold. That's pretty cool. No, I do Facebook ads as well. I actually spend more on Facebook ads than YouTube ads. YouTube ads are a pain in the ass, but they're cool. But this thing is, yeah. Everyone, links will be sent to your email. Just give me like an hour and a half, and then they'll be there. For people running email marketing for e-commerce brands, how do you suggest we apply the $15,000 LTV growth? Xavier, that's like one of the instances where it kind of, for some reason, like e-commerce email marketing does work as a front-end cold traffic offer, but it's incremental. So what I mean by that is it is a scalping offer. Like you're scalping performance off traffic they already have. But it still somehow works for some reason. I don't know. There's all kinds of, it's almost like the English language has like thousands of different like exceptions to the rule. This is just like an exception to the rule. Like e-commerce, email marketing will sell as a front-end cold traffic, but it is not a new money offer. It's like a scalping. It still works though. It's really weird. So you don't have to apply the $15,000 LTV rule because it's not a new money offer. Where do you present the value stack and sales calls? Oh, Martin, yeah. Well, I generally do that on well, like Martin, if you went to our VSL page for like our full coaching offer, like you would find at the end of the VSL, or pretty actually like a substantial portion of the VSL is me walking through what you get. Or it's like, and you'll see this if you guys watch my YouTube videos at the end of a pitch video, like at the end of the video when I go into pitch, it's me like just explaining what you get. It's deliverable stack, and then you also do the sales call where you just walk them through. Like you gotta imagine it's literally like you telling them, "This is what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Prospect. I'm going to do this, then 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 this," and they're like, "Wow, that's a lot." And you're like, "Yeah." All right, cool. Okay, bit of a long one, but I appreciate your insight on our offers. I run a PR agency. We secure full feature, non-sponsored editorial articles about our clients as the main subject on sites like Forbes, etc. The product is positioned as a one-time purchase, permanent asset that they can reference across all advertisers to increase perceived trust, which typically decreases CAC, increase conversion rates, trust authority. Currently run a guaranteed result refund offer like you suggest. If I added a and we'll send you an X check for wasting your time, like I see some vendors using. Would this increase our conversion rate or decrease our conversion rate in cold traffic? Well, it'd probably increase it. I assume increase, but I ran to the toilet the second you mentioned something like, and I work for free offers and second guess my hypothesis. Interesting to hear your thoughts. First context, we did this offer. This we wouldn't be at risk of losing money. Image. Okay. Callum, what I think you should do is like, if you got this completely correct, like the purpose is to increase the conversion rates and decrease their CAC, guarantee them that they will decrease their CAC. And it's like the amount of people who actually measurably fucking calculate their CAC accurately and then split test it against like putting the thing on the, like, it's just, they're not gonna, like, no one's doing that. You know, they're just not gonna do that. Like, you're gonna get no refund request. So like, you should start being substantially more aggressive with like what you're guaranteeing. Muhammad, do we need a VSL? Well, all right, Muhammad, let me ask you this. For the cold traffic people in here, if you were on like Instagram and you saw like an image ad, and then you got to the page and there was no video on the page, how would you feel? You'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, or like, who is this like, what is this? But there's no person. It's a human. The function of a VSL is to mitigate the premise that you are default an internet scammer until proven otherwise. Does that make sense? So yeah, you really want one. If you were to go in the home services niche, would you pick a different sub niche as the different niche or something else entirely? Well, Rory, if you're already in the home services niche and like that's your thing, I'd say yeah. But if you are starting from zero and you're not in the home services niche, I would not recommend you go into the home services niche. I would recommend you go one of the obscure niches. But yeah, if you want to completely maximize your there's got to be a distinction of like what home services you're going to do because they should follow the $15,000 LTV rule, and then you should make individual assets for each of those people. You get what I'm saying? Do you recommend Loom outreach when starting from zero? Oliver, we're going to show you something on day 3. Christian's going to show you something about Dream 100. Something so completely profound that is going to like flip your world upside down that you're going to do that for the rest of your life instead. With no case studies, what's the most effective way to do outreach? Dream 100. You'll see it on Wednesday, day 3. Hold on, I'm going through questions. What's the average credit usage cost in manage for personalization and research? Like, that will maybe use like 30 credits or something so low. Can you do e-com emails at AI agency? Yeah, yeah, you can. It's just not there's still a lot of manual stuff in it. Um, it's really weird. E-com is besides ads, like a lot of stuff in e-com, like email marketing has a severe lack of like AI stuff developed for it. Like there's some AI designers, but still like some manual stuff. Um, if you started from zero today and your business is lead gen cold email, what would you do as beginner? I would do a $500 per month tech fee plus a $300 cost per call as your offer, and then you get to say performance-based lead gen only pay when you get a qualified call that shows up on your calendar, and then that's your headline. Should I focus on sending free assets up front or ask them permission and send them after? Well, Sanjay, send them up front, but we're going to show you how to make them with Manus on day 3. Any actionable steps you would recommend taking right after the Zoom? Yeah, what I would recommend is going and playing with the GPT, the offers GPT, and figuring out like concretely figuring out an offer and just picking one. I would play with that for a little bit. And like concretely pick out an offer because then you can start prompting it. Like, what are the deliverables of the like? I want to like exemplify to you guys like, there's this thing there's this word I came up with a while ago, and it's called figure it the fuck out ability. There's two humans in the world, it seems. One is somebody who like just cannot figure out anything on their own whatsoever, and then there's other people who can just figure out anything. I'll give you an idea of what I did when I first started. When you are first getting started, there's like so many different things you don't know. Like a lot of you guys who are like really, really beginners in this, like you're probably profoundly overwhelmed with the amount of information I've given you just today. And there's still 3 more days of this. You're going to be like head rattlingly like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So what has this done? Like this has created disconnected like blobs of information in your head. Like there's like, you're thinking of offers over here. You're thinking of cold outreach over here. You're thinking of sales over here. You're thinking of like fulfillment over here. You're thinking of like AI tools over here. And none of these piece together yet. Now, as imagine each of these is like an oil or like it's like a web. Like as you learn more about each one, you're like building webs down and down, like expanding out each one. Your knowledge base of each one is expanding out like in branches. And then you start learning more about one of the other bubbles, and the knowledge branches of that one start expanding out, and it starts connecting to branches from the other blobs. And these all go together and start connecting and intermingling with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's that activity of going in depth on individual blobs of information that creates the connections between things. And it just takes a while to do that. It just does. What I did was I graduated college a year early, and I saved up like a ton of money. I used to work at Apple, and I wrote down every single amount of money I made and everything I spent on, and like lived like a psychopath and didn't do anything. So I saved a lot of money, and I asked my parents. I said, because I graduated a year early, I was like, hey, I would have been in college anyway. Can I not get a job right now for the next like 6 months and like try to make my own business? So one of the first things I did before school ended was, and this is like 9 years ago at this point. I graduated in 2018. Wait. When I was no, I'm retarded. That was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Okay. I said what I literally looked up on YouTube how to make money online. That's literally what I looked up, was how to make money online. And I watched every YouTube video in the first 2 pages, every single one. I did not discriminate the video. Like, oh, this one looks good. So Like I watched all of the video. And now what did this do? I watched a bunch of them, and it's like there was like so many different questions I had. I was like, well, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is it? And there were like a million different things. So what I did was I started taking the thing, like, well, what is this? And then I looked that up on YouTube, and then I watched the first 2 pages on that thing. And then I went back and did that for the other thing and another thing. And this spawned new things that I also did that for. And it just created a web of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just I just knew things. I knew how things connected together. I understood how things worked. And then I started watching like more technical videos of like, okay, well, I know I get the concept of like a CRM, but like what CRM should I use? And it's like, and then I remember this guy had like there's like a whole playlist on Pipe Drive as a CRM. And then I watched like 20 videos on how to use Pipe Drive. And then I made a Pipe Drive account. And then like that led me to learning about like, well, you can trigger emails to send
Here's
based
one
off
more
specific activities of prospects. So like, well, let me go look up email marketing. And then like I stumbled upon copywriting and I was like, what's copywriting? And I'm like, oh fuck. And I started, and then I bought like 35 books on copywriting and became like a psychopath about learning how to do that. And like it's you just go down these like insane rabbit holes. And you need to do that. Like it's okay. Like if it takes a minute for you to like really get this going for yourself, but like you need to like identify rabbit hole and like dive down that thing, just like just super dive, and you'll find something that you kind of like I love making like, oh, let me pull my Zapier account. I love like making like marketing automations and shit. It's like the most entertaining thing of all time. So like I have how many zaps? Does everyone see my screen of the Zapier page loading? It's I 38,000 tasks in the past 30 days. 111 different zaps there. So these are just like automations of stuff. So like I'll show you an example of one. So I go to folders. Like I'll show you the zap for like this right here was at the challenge thing. Okay, so earlier today, this now says join the wait list, but earlier today it said like buy now, right? So like it was this, and then it brought you to a checkout page. But like, what do I do with this? Like, okay, I like page, and now like name, email. Like, how do you do something with that? How do you do something with the email? Okay, so this page is built on what's called Framer, and Framer has what's called a webhook. Now, Framers are fairly complicated, so there's much easier things to do this with. Like the one that the vast majority of you would want to do is go high level. But I'm just explaining this so you understand the concept of like, okay, so yeah, go high level, super easy to learn. So like what do you do with the email? So like for instance, I have this zap right here where it's called a webhook. So it's got catch hook as the trigger, and then it gets like the input. So like this was a test of Ed, of our guy Ed when he was doing this. So we got Ed over here, and then but I wanted to like the name popped up as one field, but I wanted it a separated field. So I did a step formatter by Zapier. I made the separator a space, and then I wanted the first thing, and then it popped out the output as Ed. And now I want to do the same thing for the last name. So I made the separator space, and I told it to give me the second one. So now that output is Butler. So now this is the first name, this is the last name. And then I needed to define a time period, so the current time. And then like, okay, well, what do I do with the email? So I want to create a contact in HubSpot, but I also want to make a trigger of this property where it sets the date that would right now it's the wait list because it sets the date of the wait list, and then I send a message in Slack that like someone signed up for the wait list. But like now inside of HubSpot, what do I do? Like how does this trigger emails? Well, like for instance, if I go over to HubSpot and I go over to workflows and I find this over here, the wait list, where if this property results in this, subscribe them to the emails, mark them as a marketing contact, and then send this email. And then like now I have things like this where there's like 35 fucking emails, and what you know, so it's like it's like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling of shit. And you can build stuff like this in like go high level for it. Like HubSpot is super expensive. But that's all pretty much all of you guys will use go high level for stuff like that. Go high level is like you have a website in there, you can build funnels and go high level. It has a CRM, it has like automations like this. But yeah, so it's like, so what I was saying is that like I started learning stuff like that, and then I found like, wow, I really like that. And then like the next problem was like, okay, well, I can learn how to like automate like marketing messages like this. I want to know like what do I say in the marketing what do I even say at all? And that's what copywriting is. So if you look up like copywriting, it's like a whole thing. Like it's not like the legal term copywriting. It's copywriting is the act of writing a message that increases the amount of conversions you get, the amount of sales you get. Like, what do you say on a page? So, like, for instance, like this is copy, right? So, like, this 4-day challenge will teach you how to sell AI services to businesses and replace your full-time income by only working 20 to 25 hours a week. Okay. And then, like, this is a sales letter. Like, this is copy. Now, you don't need all this, like, design and shit on here. This can just be, like, straight text. Like, that's fine, too. Those actually were, I was thinking about testing that. Testing this page against, like, just raw text. Oh, yeah, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. My bad. I was just going through this page. Like this is copy. But it can be like raw text, and that's fine. Yeah. So then, like, what's important to know about like what I say stuff, like you'll hear me say stuff, for instance, that's like, Luciano, don't fucking put your shit in here. Don't promote in here. Oh shit, what the fuck? Yo, Rory, also, that's a unique link to you. Like if you give someone your link and they join on your link, like you can't join. So don't give your links out, bro. Okay, cool. So what I was saying is that you'll hear me say something like where AI does 80% of the work or 90% of the work, and you're like, well, how the fuck does AI do 80% of the work, 90% of the work? Because let me explain this to you. Let me show you something. Where is this? Fuck, I gotta find this. Hold on. Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, so that page, the challenge that all you guys bought through, that VSL, that page, a lot of you guys like would have went into the abandoned checkout flow. I think I had 14 fucking abandoned checkout. So if you put your email in there and you didn't buy, like I triggered 14 different emails to send. I think we had like 28 different ads. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of the VSL, like all of that was written with Manus. Do you know how long that would have taken me to write without Manus? The answer is something around like 60 hours of like actual labor, like not like me fucking around, like me like at the screen. Like that's how long that would have taken. Like a really, really long time. So you're going to see something later in this challenge, right? I showed you that giant funnel. You're going to learn how to produce every single piece of that funnel with Manus, just like that. So you don't have to spend 60 hours doing it because that sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what like AI doing 80% of the work does. Now, like the setup of like you deploying a page and like putting the text on the page and like setting up the and like pasting the text of the email into the email automation. That's where the work is. That's where the remaining 20 to 10% of the total required hours exist still. Does that make sense to everyone? But it's like it's completely insane that you can do this. Just you guys have probably just seen like anyone who's been following us for a while, like if you're on my YouTube and the email, you've probably seen like a substantial ramp up in like the amount of shit that we are like just exuding out as a business. But that's because of Manus. I can do so much more, just just profusely more shit. It's completely insane. Do you use your own AI agents and client extension and third-party agents like Manus? Bawa. Okay, all right. All right, listen. We have a platform called Client Ascension AI. Okay, that has a bunch of tools inside of it and like agents within it. Okay, any AI tool you see anyone selling as like as anything, anyone selling an AI tool, it could be AI voice agent or my AI platform does all of this. All of it is a wrapper of an LLM. Like it's just their own user interface that makes API calls to an LLM. It just uses OpenAI tokens. It's just ChatGPT with like additional instructions on it. That's what every single AI tool, because you might see shit like there's like you might see someone say, I have an AI niche finder, and it's like, okay, well it's just a user interface that's calling back to Manus or calling back to OpenAI. That's literally what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's just you're using Manus or OpenAI with a different user interface. That's what all of these tools. You might see stuff people advertising. This AI tool writes copy. It's like, okay, well, it's just ChatGPT with a couple sales letters loaded into it as good examples. That's what it is. You get what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Have some of you gotten the Excel file? Deep. Don't worry. Everyone's gonna get the links. All the links are coming. 100 plus 100 social rating from the CCP by promoting Manus. That was funny. Who was the devil? Look, are you uploading fucking state secrets to me? It's so funny. What program do you use for SMS? I went through your funnel and then you texted me from the same area code. Alloware. Yeah, we use Alloware. We've tried ones that send blue text messages as well, but they're like all clunky and weird. Hold on. Alloware, yeah. Why not go high level for SMS? When you get to a certain size of your business, you just cannot use go high level anymore. You have to migrate to something like HubSpot. There's a reason why HubSpot is super expensive. There's like a profound amount of stuff it can do. But any business under like 100K a month is fine with go high level. That's fine. Go high level is super clunky though. Yeah, but it's super easy. It's really just like if you start to just like we have Framer. Like I don't know how to build on. I don't know how to use Framer. I know how to use ClickFunnels. I've used ClickFunnels forever. I know how to use ClickFunnels. I can work my way around Go High Level too. But that's not my era. Go High Level era is like started like 3 years ago. I started in ClickFunnels era. So like much before that. Like ClickFunnels was a standard. I remember when Go High Level was like launched and it didn't even exist yet. Okay. All right, guys. I'm fucking starving, so I'm gonna go eat dinner. It's 7:21, so I'm gonna get off now. Thanks everybody.